Hello and good morning, everyone. It is still just before noon. How are you all doing on this wonderful, sunny, and very warm day? It is my pleasure to be with you this afternoon. My name is Jeaneen Hooks, and I am welcoming you into another Columbus Urban League Minority Business Assistance Center Driving for Growth webinar. This webinar will be facilitated by myself and my beautiful certification specialist, Ms. Cathy Armstrong. Say hi to our fans, Cathy.
Good morning to all.
This is actually in partnership with the State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services. I see quite a few of my friends here from the state office on our webinar, as well as members from the National Center for Urban Solutions. I have given some audio permission to Mr. Perry Gregory and Mr. Sharon Hathaway. Do you guys want to chime in and say hello to all of our fans and friends that are on the webinar with us today?
Hey, thank you to my favorite friends, Jeaneen and Cathy. Thank you for allowing us to participate with you today. We're excited about this opportunity. This is a good opportunity for your company to become certified to do business with the state. There's many different opportunities that are currently available, particularly with working with us. One of the current contracts we are working on is with the OSU New Medical Center Inpatient Center Hospital project, where we are recruiting minority companies to participate on this project. And in order to participate on this project, you have to be ED certified. And so we hope that you complete this process. In addition to their team helping you, our NCUS team is willing to step in and provide that assistance to you as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Mr. Hathaway, any words from you this morning? Okay, he may have been
phone
called.
must be on mute, but I think I hit it pretty much well for us. And I just want to give my contact information is P. Gregory at ncussolutions.org. I'll drop it in the box. But please feel free to reach out to me that we have some opportunities that are available for you right now. Perfect.
Thank you so much for that. And then I also want to make sure that we bring attention to our state partner with DAS, Mr. Tim Collins. He is actually a processor for all things in certification world. Tim, you want to say hi and introduce yourself there?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Collins. I'm with the state of Ohio. I hope everybody has a great day today in this training. We will try to get you certified and become a certified EDGE company. Hope you listen up, and thank you very much for attending the session today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tim. As our partners have stated, this is about becoming certified and partnering with us, Columbus Urban League MBAC and the state of Ohio, to get that done as successfully and as efficiently as possible. Most importantly, so that you can take advantage of the projects that National Center for Urban Solutions has in front of them, and that can help you with growing your business. And that's what we're all about here, is helping you find opportunities to grow your business and to scale up. And getting in on some of these contracts, especially with the OSU Wexner Center, which I believe is a life-changing event. If you have the opportunity, you should be participating, and that's why we're here to help you in that process. While I'm getting my screen queued up to walk through the slide deck that I have for you, I just invite everyone to say hi to us in the chat. I will be managing the chat as we go through the webinar, so I want to make sure that you have a quick trigger finger and you know how to get to me and post that question so we can make sure that it gets answered. And also tell me what you guys are putting on the grill this weekend. I'm so intrigued by what everybody's going to be up to in this beautiful new warm weather that we've got. So thank you for saying hello, and let me get my screen queued up here. All right, can everyone see my screen? Let me know, holler at me in the chat, please. Awesome, thank you, thank you. All right, Cathy, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So again, I welcome you to an EDGE certification, MBE certification, and WBE certification document tour. You might have thought you were signing up for just one, but good news for those of us that fit in some of those other categories, this will be the same type of document information you will need to pull together for that certification. So there's Cathy and I. We've kind of talked about ourselves and what we do here. Cathy is our certification and outreach specialist. What I love about Cathy and what she brings to the team is 30 years of experience in working on certification. So between Cathy and Tim, nothing can go wrong with your application. So let's talk a little bit about what is certification and why should I, as a business owner, become certified? And I've heard this question over and over again, because quite frankly, the task of becoming certified is daunting. But I tell you this, if it was easy, then everyone would do it. So there's a certain amount of preference that we need to consider. When you do this, you really are elevating your business for greater opportunity. So MBE certification really has a racial designation associated with it. It is the opportunity for those people that identify in these minority classifications that have a set aside procurement opportunity to provide goods and services to state agency organizations. It's really just an opportunity for those minority owned businesses, being 51% minority owned, can kind of level up when it comes to open market competition. EDGE certified, which is what we're focusing on here, does not have that racial designation, but it is set up for the economically and socially disadvantaged entrepreneurs, again, giving them that leveling up opportunity to participate in some of these government contracts. So as a business owner, I'm sure I don't need to tell you or beat the horse to sludge about why you want to get in on an opportunity as big as the OSU Wexner Hospital. What myself and I believe NCUS will continue to emphasize to you is to don't count yourself out, to count yourself in on such a project as this and other projects that will be coming up in the future. So I want to reflect on what today is really all about. We are going to take a document tour and get a deeper level of understanding on the documents that are required for a successful application. When you registered, and I believe many of you received on this morning an email packet from my team, and I'm going to make sure that you have that information because we will be referring to it as we go through this webinar. You should have received a copy of the certification affidavit. That will mean more to you as we go into the discussion. A capability statement template. If for some reason you do not have a capability statement, then you can use this template as a guide. And we'll also talk a little bit more about how you can get up to speed on what should go on a capability statement. Excuse me, we have the LLC cheat sheet for preliminary documents. So this is the sheet that we're actually going to be going through document by document to explain what those are for you. We created in our shop a certification tip sheet just to kind of break things down and put it into layman terms. And for those of us that might not have a complete grasp on our business financials, there are some templates in there that you can easily use and start to populate your information because those will be required documents for your certification. We also included templates that will be used for LLCs, even if you are a single member LLC, on the unit certificate as well as the ledger. So I just ask that you acknowledge that you have received this information, you have it in your inbox. If not, put it in the chat and we will make sure that immediately after this call, we get that packet emailed to you so you have everything in front of you. For now, I just ask that we have your utmost attention as we go through this and you take lots of really good notes. So this was built for you so that you would know exactly what to go through. What this webinar is not. We will help you decipher what you need for a successful application based on your business structure, but we will not have the answer as to why the state of Ohio requires such documents, okay? So there are times where people want to get into the why conversation, and frankly, that's just not information that we have. So I just want to get that out in front, saying that we have no control over that, but what we do have control over is making sure that you have a successful application. So I appreciate your understanding on that. And if you get, again, just chat with me, give me a thumbs up that you're all good, that Jeaneen can't tell you why, but we can tell you what for sure. All right, so let's get into it. If you're going through your certification LLC checklist that we provided you, I'm going to start breaking those documents down and talk about it in terms of business structure And then Cathy's going to come behind me and she's going to actually discuss each individual document, usually where you can find it and what's needed on that document so that it will go through successfully. Let me kind of step back and say a successful application is that it's complete and that the state doesn't have to kick it back to MBAC because of missing information. Missing information on a short time frame will mean that your application could be delayed, and we're not into delays. So we want to make sure we do it right the first time and have it as complete as possible, and that's why we're here. So the beginning documents that you need should be things that you can easily reach for. So that would be proof of citizenship. So we're looking for your birth certificate or your passport, period, just that simple. The next thing would be your proof of residency, and we're going to collect that information from your state of Ohio tax forms, okay? And then proof of membership in a disadvantaged group affidavit verifying your eligibility to participate in the EDGE program. So I'm not gonna leave you hanging. We absolutely have a copy of that affidavit. And again, that was included in the email packet that was sent to you. And if you can see there, it's simply saying complete this and indicate if you belong in one of these designated groups, or if you're going for the EDGE certification in section 2, you're going to indicate why you consider yourself to be in a socially disadvantaged or economically disadvantaged group. We will ask that you take this document and that you have it notarized, okay? Because you are attesting to a certain status in the community, and that needs to be notarized. Now, getting notarized is not difficult. We don't do it that often these days anymore, but you can easily go to your bank. You can go to a UPS location. There may be people in your community, your church, your mosque, other places of worship that you may go that will be able to get that certified for you. If you're still at a loss as to where to go, email us at Urban League, and we will find a way to help you understand where you can go to get that document certified. Okay, so now we're going to start getting into documents for the EDGE certification according to your business structure, because it will vary by the structure that you set up yourself with through the state of Ohio. So I'm going to start from the simplest and I'm going to go all the way up. We're going to start with sole proprietor. This basically means that you're a DBA, you're unincorporated, and that straightforward application for an EDGE certification will require a minimum of approximately 24 documents. I'm not saying 24 individual pieces of paper. I'm saying 24 unique, different documents that the state can look at to vet and verify the business that you're in and how you're receiving funds and how those funds are being utilized. The next structure would be partnership, where you have 2 or more persons that are co-owners in a for-profit partnership or organizational structure. So if you can see there in my bulleted notes, it's the same 24 basic documents that you start out with from the sole prop, but then you need to add in the partnership agreement. This partnership agreement should be something where you and your partner sat down and you talked about how you're going to do business, who has controlling decision-making authority, how you're going to split out the money, and so on and so forth. So, and then following that, you're going to have your tax schedules that are specific to partners under this type of structure, okay? The next I'm going to go to would be corporation. And we all know what corporations are. You can think of any of the big guys that are out there, but corporations can actually be broken down into S Corps or C Corps. And that really has a difference in terms of tax treatment, how you claim the revenues against that corporation, or if it needs to be passed on to the individual owners for that tax filing. As you see a common theme here, we're still working on the same 24 documents as our baseline. Now we're going into our articles of incorporation, your corporate bylaws, shareholder or board of director meeting minutes, and this might be something that's a little new, which would be the stock certificates, stock journal or ledger, and then our other tax treatment forms for this business organization. Okay, so articles of incorporation should have been something that you filed when you filed with the Secretary of State. Your corporate bylaws are going to be the things that you put in place amongst your shareholders in terms of how you're operating your business. Shareholder and board of director meetings, minutes. So you should be taking notes on what's occurring in those meetings and how decisions are being made. We'll go into the stock certificate and stock journal ledger, but I just want to stop and pause here and have a comment that if for any reason you're thinking already in your mind, well, I'm a corporation, but I don't have board meeting minutes, I don't have corporate bylaws, then what we need to understand is when was your last meeting, and can you go back and recapture that information with the appropriate date and time and have it signed off on by the board members so that we can get that logged in for you. So if you're not doing it today, you absolutely should be doing it going forward. Got it? Okay. The next structure, and the most common that we see come through our office, I would say probably 98% of the certifications that we get across the board will be limited liability corporations and single member LLCs. The reason why is because limited liability actually offers the highest level of protection for the business owner or owners. Okay, and this actually is a little simpler when it comes to the amount of documents that you need for the certification. I will say that it's not as document heavy as a corporation file that you need to submit, but it's not as lean as a sole prop. Okay, so let's go back. We're looking at the same 24 docs, article of organization filed at the time that you did your Secretary of State registration. You will still need to do a unit certificate, a unit ledger, and those scheduled tax treatment forms for the business. Okay, I'm going to pause here for a moment and let everybody kind of catch their breath because I know I went through that rather quickly. And I will definitely address chats and questions in the chat at the end of the webinar, but we do want to get through our content. One of the things that we will request and the state of Ohio will be looking for, I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up, which will be your capability statement. If you don't currently have a capability statement, we have included a template in your email packet so that you have that information and you can kind of follow along and understand what it is. In short, it is a business resume. It's a one-page document that you can use as a marketing tool that talks about what you do as a business, what your differentiator is, the clients or people that you have served in your business. And this is where you want to list your codes that are going to be associated with the type of business, product, or service that you have. So let's work our way up. The UNSPSC, say that 10 times really fast. The UNSPSC code, the United Nations Standard Products and Services Code, is something that your application processor on the state side will ask you to get. So we're just bringing that up to you in advance, making sure that you're well prepared. We have the link there so that you can go there and you simply just put in the type of business in the search field and codes pop up. So you want to make sure that those codes are placed on your capability statement and that you can refer to those when you're making your submission to us for the packet for the state of Ohio. The next would be the SIC codes, Standard Industrial Classification Codes, and the NAICS codes, North American Industry Classification System codes. I left the NAIC website there because you can get your SIC code and your NAIC code all from that one NAIC website that's referenced there for you, okay? Again, you wanna make sure that when you're identifying the products or services that you offer, that these codes line up with what you truly offer, and you can support that with contracts, invoices, and information in your business statement. If you try to get creative here, if you try to make yourself look bigger than what you are, that's going to be a huge red flag for our friends at the state. And they're going to want you to kind of back up what you're saying here in regards to how you're doing business associated with those codes. Did I get that right, Cathy?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Awesome. We practiced that, so I wanted to make sure that I hit that one on the head. All right, now I'm going to turn the mic over to Cathy, and she's going to take you through an overview of each of the documents required for LLCs. And while she's doing that, I'm going to darken my screen. I'm going to look at what's in the chat and be ready to answer your questions as you go along. Cathy, I yield the floor to you.
Thank you. Again, I want to say good morning to everyone. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the article of organization. The Articles of Organization is something that you filed with the Secretary of State when you became an LLC. So those are the documents that we're asking for, that's from the Secretary of State. When you receive that, then we're going to look at the Form 8832. What is an 8832? Is an entity classification election. So that is a form that you file with the IRS. Then we look at the IRS SS4. That is your EIN tax ID number. And so those items, those are the documents we're looking for to put inside of your package. These forms here are not optional, but we're asking for them is your LLC Membership Certificate and your unit, journal, or ledger. That LLC Member Certificate is a certificate that we've included in your package for each member. This is it. So how do you fill that out? For as an LLC, one person is one unit member. So again, when you fill this out, is 1 unit per person. Usually it's a sole owner. So again, this is the LLC Membership Certificate and the ledger. Now, again, it's optional, but we do ask that you complete this and include it in your package. So you see here, it has the date of issue, the name and address, the number of unit certificates. And so if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call and I will assist you in all of the documents. Next. The overview of the documents, we're looking for personal tax returns for the last 3 years. So again, we're looking for your personal tax returns for the last 3 years. So we're looking at your federal and your state for the last 3 years. Then we're looking for your business tax schedule. Again, your K1s and Es, 1065, 1120, 1120S for the last 3 years or the life of the business. But again, we really want to stay within those 3 years. For each owner, we're looking for your W-2s or your 1099s for the last 3 years to include in the package. Next, we're looking for your bank signature card. A lot of times, when you first open the bank account, you get a bank signature card. So a lot of times they say, well, I don't have that card anymore. It's hard to get a copy of the card. So what you do is go to your bank. They will draft you up a letter with the bank head, with the bank signature on it. And then you can turn that in. It is on their letterhead. That's what I should have said, is on their letterhead. And then you submit a copy of that to us. The 3 largest contracts from the past 2 years with supporting documents. So we look at the 3 largest contracts over the past 2 years, and we're looking for the complete package. So we'll know the type of work that's being done, who's doing the work, and all the things that are in between so that we get a better understanding. Because these documents come to me, but I don't analyze them. They go to Tim Collins and their team over at DAS, and they're the ones who's going to be looking at these documents. Distributorship agreement or line of credit with the supplier. Distributorship agreement is between 1 or more parties to handle distributorship of a product. So again, that's what the distributorship agreement is. If you have any line of credits, a lot of times when you have a distributorship, you've got line of credits with them. So we're asking for the line of credits with any of the suppliers that you may have with them.
So Cathy, I know someone's going to have a question. They're already thinking of it. What if
Yes.
I've only been in business for 1 year? How do I handle some of these documents where they're asking for 3 years?
Okay, if you only been in business for 1 year, so we're going to take the 1 year business, but then the rest, we're going to look at the personal taxes. So again, we still have to have the taxes, but if you've only been in business for 1 year. So say your year is coming up like June. And so your year is going to be in June, but you haven't filed those taxes. So we're looking at invoices, some of the contracts, purchase orders, anything that you can prove to us that this business has been up and running for at least 1 full year. Loans and security agreements. If you have any loans or security agreements, we're asking for copies of those. And then I'll go over some of the things that if you don't have them. a lockbox agreement. A lockbox agreement is not just a lockbox that you have. A lockbox agreement is an agreement that you have with you and maybe another business, and the money is being funneled through the lockbox. So we're asking for that type of lockbox lease agreement. List of certification by any other agency. So if you're certified through the state, ODOT, the county, anybody else that Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council, anyone else that you may be certified, we're looking for a list of those certifications by anyone else. Management agreements. If you have any management agreements, we're looking for a copy of those. Required license for trades or services. What is required license for trades or services? Doctors, lawyers, and anything that requires a license. We're asking for those, even as a driver, the CDL license. So anything that requires a license, we're asking for a copy of those licenses for the trade or services that you provide. Equipment list and title document. Equipment list is a list of equipment that, especially for construction, we're looking for, if say for instance, you got 2 or 3 trucks, we're looking for a copy of that, that equipment list and the title. We definitely look at the title document. A lot of times as a sole owner, you may have a truck, but you may have that title document in your name. So those are the kind of things that we're looking for, that even if it's in your name, we know it's in your name. We're trying to make sure that all the equipment list is yours. So sometimes even as not just construction, a lot of times they say, well, I don't have any equipment. You do. You have an office. We're looking at, do you have a desk? Do you have a computer? What helps you run your business? So those are the type of list of equipments that we're asking for to provide in your package. Facility lease ownership document, and you may use your private residence. So if you have a location, we're asking for a copy of that lease. Just to say that, what is your lease? What are you paying for it a month and all that? Even though I don't get into the full of it, is for DAS, they'll get into it, but again, I'm fulfilling the documents. Ownership documents, and if you use your private residence, do you own the house? If you do, we're looking for a deed. We're looking for the copy of the deed of the ownership. Because again, we want to make sure where the business is operating out of it, it is actually who is operating the business, who is claiming to be the LLC. If you have a list of subcontractors, we're asking for a copy of those subcontractors. Subcontractors can be anyone that you're using to help you, you're using them as a subcontractor to help run the business. We're looking for balance sheet, cash flow statements, and income statements, or P&L. Most recently, we look at the quarterly reports. So again, balance sheet speaks for itself. We're looking at the balance sheet, the cash flow. Then we look for one previous year bank statements. When we say 1 year bank statements, we're looking for 12 months of bank statements to, if you haven't done any business, or then we're looking for the first 2 sheets. But if you have done any, it could be 3 or more, up to 5, 6, 7 sheets, but we're looking for at least 1 year of bank statements for each month.
Cathy, I'm just going to weigh in here on the balance sheet, cash flow statement, and income statement.
Yes.
We see quite a few businesses where this is like an operational deficiency. I'm working so hard, it's just me, I'm a single member LLC, I haven't taken the time to do that. We understand that and we're okay with that, but what we have included in your email packet would be templates where we can help you understand how to start plotting this information into those documents for the submittal. So the fact that you didn't do it before, that's not an excuse for us to say, okay, I can't get my EDGE certification. So we just want you to know that we can help you get this done. We've got the tools in place. So if that is a deficiency in your business, let's go ahead and get that taken care of and remove that as an obstacle or a barrier for you. Thank you, Cathy.
Yes, and thank you so much for that, because again, a lot of times, people will do balance sheet cash flows and they put them on different sheets of paper and keep them all. But again, we have included that you can do it in a more formalized way. So that way you can keep track of it yourself, because there's no better way of knowing how your money is coming in and out. So again, thank you. We're looking for a resume of each owner. So if there's one, even if it's just one owner, but for each owner, we need their resume. And then service level agreements. And in case where documents are not applicable, you must include on a business letterhead the name of the document and the reason why it's not applicable to your business. Not all these documents are applicable to your business. So again, we're saying you don't need to put each document on a letterhead. Take one letterhead and just put all the documents and then put on the reason why that is not applicable to your business.
Okay, I just have to weigh in on this one again, because this was definitely an opportunity for a lot of our business owners that I've worked with on certification to kind of, it's not an excuse, but what you are is you're declaring a statement to the state of Ohio as to, I do not have what I want. I don't have a lockbox lease. A lockbox lease is not applicable to my business because I don't have a relationship with any other entity that should have access or control of my money. So we want to make sure that we are telling the story, because we don't want to leave it up to our partners at the state of Ohio to guess. That is not their position. They are in an evaluation and assessment mode. So we want to make sure that we're building that narrative so that it really tells a story about why this particular document is not applicable. It's different than I don't have it because I don't have it. That's not what we're saying. We're saying it's not applicable to my business and this is why. All right. Next, we're going to go into our timeline, and Cathy and I are going to share on this and go back and forth. So I'm going to take the blue and Cathy's going to take the white. So from a project timeline, so now we're starting to get an understanding of the amount of documents. I'm sorry, let me turn my camera on. Now we're starting to get an understanding of the amount of documentation that we need to pull together. And that's why we're sharing this timeline and this information with you up front. If you need to get EDGE certified, if you're not quite a year in business, but maybe you're 30 days, 60 days out, let's start working on gathering those documents now so we can get that submitted for you as accurately and completely as possible. So you want to gather your documents, and we're asking that you name each document according to the file that's on the checklist. That's very important because that's a time saver for everyone else is going to have to review your file down the pipeline. All right. So save the document electronically, name it according to the file name that you would find on the checklist. Then you want to email that file to MBAC. You're going to send it to myself or to Cathy, and make sure that it's in order as they appear on the checklist. So yes, it's a little task heavy on the front side, but we're doing it that way so that we can save ourselves a lot of time when we get into the review stage. And it will need to be an electronic file. Due to COVID protocols, we are ensuring the health and safety of our staff as well as for you. So we're going to continue that electronic document process. And I believe that our friends over at NCS will be helping us with some of the document collection as well. So this applies for all of us. Even if we get your documents out of order, we have to put them in order before we send them to the state. So again, for a timely and efficient process, save the file according to the name and put it in order as it is listed on the checklist that we sent to you on this morning. Your turn, Cathy.
Okay. Upon receipt, we will review the file within 24 hours after completion. So once I receive it, I have 24 hours to look over those documents before I make a decision on how to process. If completed, because what we're doing first is we're gathering the documents first. That's the main key, gathering the documents first. If completed, we will then advise you to do the OBG application. And I'm going to explain to you why. Because the documents are the most important part of the process. Even though the application is another part of it, we want to make sure that we have all the documents. Because once you fill out that OBG application and it kicks in, 30 days. So if those documents aren't not there, then you have to start the process over. So therefore, we want to gather the documents and then we advise you to go on the OBG to do the application, because it takes 24 hours to 48 hours to upload. And then that's when the clock starts ticking.
Kathy, can you tell our friends what OBG is?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ohio Business Gateway. So when you go in to do the application, it is done on the Ohio Business Gateway. I forgot we use all these acronyms and forgot. So again, it's the Ohio Business Gateway. So that's where the application is done, and we do have a link for that as well. And we will work with you on that and guide you through it if you have any issues or any problems through it. If not, we will advise you on the missing information. And so when we look over those documents and there's missing documents, we will not advise you to go into the OBG until we do the missing information and making sure that we have everything before we move forward. I'm turning it back over to you.
Thank you, Kathy. And we are doing this kind of in a very organized and rapid fashion. For Kathy to be able to turn your file around in 24 hours, that means that file is complete. If she sends an email saying that we've got some missing information, that if you could please get that turned around quickly, that will keep us in the process of getting it submitted to the state of Ohio as quickly as possible. So the other thing I want to add here is we will be reporting to our friends at NCUS on a weekly basis how many files we've been able to submit for EDGE certification and how many files are still kind of in a waiting pattern because we're waiting on additional documents. So we're trying to make the load as easy as possible for our friends over at the state side. Once the Ohio Business Gateway Unified Application is complete, we're going to submit it to DAS EOD. Now, the next bullet there talks about expedited processing. The only way you can have your EDGE certification fast-tracked is for it to come through the MBAC office, the Columbus Urban League Minority Business Assistance Center MBAC office, because we have a cover letter customized for our relationship with the state of Ohio that will acknowledge this is an expedited certification application. And on that, we have to have the bid number and the RFP date. And we would actually prefer that we have a copy of the bid. Again, this takes all the guesswork out of the application and informs the state right there where they're going through all of the documents, what this is and who it's for. That time frame shortens the certification completion to 7 to 14 days. Okay, which is pretty fast. If you look at the next bullet, standard processing will take up to 60 to 90 days. Now, I don't think I have to share with anyone that this project that we're really focused on with OSU, Wexner Inpatient Hospital, these timelines are moving along at a pretty fast pace. That's why we're doing this, and we'll be doing this every week until we make sure that we've optimized the opportunity for each and every business to get their EDGE certification completed. So we are really kind of all hands on deck and making sure that we're working with you, the business owner, to get the certification turned in as efficient and complete process as possible. There may be some comments on the bid number and RFP date from our friends at NCS at the end of the program, if you just kind of hold your questions for them. And I'm going to let Cathy take this last bullet here in the white.
Okay, previously I talked about what MBAC review. Now I'm getting ready to say what DAS EOD review, which is Department of Administrative Services Equal Opportunity Division's review. They may request additional information. We submit what is actually on that checklist. We have no control over if they ask for additional information. So if they ask for additional information, just provide it for them. And if it's not applicable, or you do not, make sure that you do not applicable and then state why and let them know. You may receive notice of virtual site visit. Again, they are still doing virtual site visits or phone interviews. So again, you will receive the notice of that. Then once that is complete, you will receive confirmation of your certification. When you receive that confirmation of your certification, please, by all means, let MBAC office know that you've been certified. Again, DAS EOD will let us know, but we would like to hear from you as well and tell us your experience of, you know, how the process went and how everything went. So that way we can, you know, give you kudos as well, okay? I'm turning it back over to you, Ms. Jeaneen.
Well, here we go. We're going to get into our questions. So I'm going to ask our partners to unmute their mics and even come on screen if they like to as we go through the questions. And you will also see on this last slide here our email addresses. So we're making ourselves as available to you as possible. carmstrong@cul.org, our main MBAC email, mbac@cul.org. And of course, I'm jhooks@cul.org. I'm going to go into our questions here and see what we've got. What are the standards for an application to be expedited or for client requests is automatically done? I believe we've answered the expedited criteria, right? So we need to have, it's either a bid number and date and a copy of that bid, or if you're going for bonding and it's a time sensitive scenario, we can do that with the state of Ohio in an expedited or fast track fashion. Do you just provide your most recent federal tax returns if you convert it to the S Corp and don't have a K-1 for this past tax filing? That's a really good question for Tim Collins.
Okay, what was the question again? Could you just repeat that?
Okay.
Okay,
Do
now,
you just
aspects-
provide your most recent federal tax returns if you just convert it to an S Corp and don't have a K-1? So they've transitioned from either a sole prop or LLC to an S Corp, and they
Yes.
don't have the K-1.
Yes, your most recent business taxes will be fine. We understand that you want to have your most recent taxes, so just use the past ones that you have. That'll be better.
Okay. Perfect. Next question, will invoices suffice and or contracts for the supporting documents needed to verify the 3 largest projects? So yes, we will be looking for everything to verify the largest projects that you've been on, invoices and contracts. So not either or. If you've signed a contract, we want to see where you got paid for it.
And just remember also, let me say a note on that, because I dealt with a company and they said, well, they did a handshake or did it verbally. We're looking for those contracts. So if you know that you have done that, go back and, you know, kind of put a contract together so therefore we can have something that's in writing, okay?
Great, Cathy. And let's see here. If your application is not expedited, could this be upgraded to accommodate new bid requirements? Again, we're working this rather quickly. So if we get your application, 24-hour review, we walk you through the Ohio Business Gateway to complete the unified application. In our world, our timeline is to get your information and documents turned around to the state within 48 to 72 hours. So if within that time frame, while we're looking at things, you now have a bid number and we can expedite it, we need that as soon as possible. We can even partner with the state and say, oh, we sent over a standard application for AB Jones and now they have a bid opportunity. We will beg and plead and send Tim flowers and make him cookies and see if he will go ahead and work with us. But we have a great partnership. So it's going to be on a case-by-case scenario, but let's say we're going to do everything we can to make that happen for you. Do we provide personal consultations or classes to set up your business? Absolutely. You've got our contact information. If you're not registered with us, register with us at mbac@cul.org. And okay, somebody's written me a book. Let's see here. Citizenship. Okay, Eddie, this is a why question. I don't know if you came in late to the webinar, but we as MBAC can't answer the why questions. I will copy and paste this question to our state partner and see if they can give you more content on that to answer this question. I hope you're okay with that. Will there be a replay? I'm sorry.
Jeaneen, you can just
Yes.
give them my email address, or I could put that
Sure.
in the chat, and they could just forward that to that email address.
Okay, we will do that.
I'll give it to Todd.
Okay, I appreciate that. We are recording this webinar, and we will post it on our Minority Business Assistance YouTube page. So I encourage everyone to go to that page and look at all of the other content and webinars that we posted. So a lot of rich information there. And we will also email every person that's registered and attended a copy of this webinar. Let's see here, Eddie, now speaking underwriter. Wait a minute, let me read this question. Eddie, that's another question I'm gonna forward to the state of Ohio, and that gets into suggestions to change the document or format. So that's something I'm gonna pass off on to Tim, and I will email that question to him. How do we get EDGE certified if we are from Kentucky? Our owner is also from Kentucky. Tim, do you wanna address that question for us?
Yes, I can. The EDGE program, MBE program, and our WBE program are for Ohio residents only. They are not for anybody that are out of the state of Ohio. So it would be kind of hard to certify a company that is out of the state of Ohio. I hope that was plain enough.
Great question though. And welcome, we're glad you're here. Maybe you can check with your state and see if they offer something similar. Where can I get these cheat sheets and packets? We'll make sure that everyone has a copy emailed back to them. We'll apologize for the duplicates. We want to make sure that you get everything that you need to go through this process. There we go. I'm just reading through the questions. Tim or Perry, if you guys have any comments as we're wrapping up, please go ahead and unmute and weigh in.
No, thank you, Jeaneen. Great presentation today. Again, if you would like to learn how your company could participate on the OSU project, please reach out to me directly. I'll drop my name in the chat. Some of you have already kind of engaged already, so we will be doing some follow-up with you. But make sure that, you know, I would say over the next week or so that you focus on getting this documentation and information completed so that you are eligible to participate on the project.
Excellent, excellent. There's a few other good questions we want to tackle before we wrap up here, because I think these will be questions that other people will have in future and upcoming webinars. What if you have been in business for 1 year and completed 3 projects? Will that qualify?
Yes, it would. I mean, our requirement for the 1 year is having a contract that dates at least 1 year back. Take, for instance, I was certified with the state of Ohio in January 2020. I got my first contract in April 2020. It goes from that year, the first contract or invoice was made. So your year will start in April of 2021. That's when you can apply for certification. Okay. Some people may have started in January 2020. They may have got their first invoice in September 2020. Then when January comes around, that would not be considered a year. It would be the first invoice date, which would be September 2021. I hope you understand that part. We have a thing called in business, and what in business means, you know, you got your invoices, you got your bills, you got revenue, etc. That means in business. Okay.
Excellent. Another question, if we do not have a lease, the facility we were in right now is also owned by the same person, but a different company. That's a really good question. Tim, can you tackle that?
Could you say that again?
Right. They don't have a lease for the
Okay.
building they're working out of. The facility they're working out of is owned by the same person, but a different company.
Well, you just have to bring a note saying your situation, and we'll look over it and see if we need anything else besides that. That happens a lot, whereas, you know, the person lets you rent free. They let you, a gentleman's agreement to come into their property, and as a favor, we just need a letter from that person whoever leases it or whoever owns the property to give it to us, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Excellent, excellent. And we've got a great question for MBAC. I work with a subcontractor, so we've never done a bid before. Do you help us create a bid or learn how to do a bid? Absolutely. Register with us, Miriam, mbac@cul.org, and let's get you going for sure. Let's see, another question we have here.
And may I interrupt for a second? So when you register with MBAC, I also am the intake person as well. So once you register, you will hear my voice again, and I will walk you through the necessary, telling you, what are you actually looking for, so I'll know who to direct you to. So again, I am also the intake as well.
Awesome. Cathy's a wonder. We just love her. Another question. We are currently certified as MBE with the state of Ohio. Congratulations. Is there a different process for EDGE certification for additional documentation? Yes, there is. What we'll need to do is get your information, Larry, and let's see how we can get you started on that EDGE certification. And that reminds me, I think I might have mentioned it, if you are going for the EDGE and you happen to also be a person that can participate as a woman-owned business, we can also file the WBE. And if you are a minority-owned business, we can also do that. So you could potentially come out of this with one or more certifications to do business through the state of Ohio. Excellent question.
A caveat to that, Jeaneen, is the process for MBE to EDGE is called cross certification. So if you go onto the OBG website and hit cross certification, that would be what you'll be looking for. Basically 3 years taxes for your business, 3 years personal taxes, personal income statement, profit loss balance sheet. Okay, thank you.
Great. Tim, you are the man of the hour right now. Here's another question for you. We are a C Corp. I thought I saw we only needed resumes for disadvantaged business owners and board members, or do we need them for all owners or members?
Okay, fortunately, we changed the way we conduct our business in October, and we will only need the resume for the majority owner of the company. In the past, before October, we were needed for several owners. Right now, as it stands, we only need the resume for the majority owner. Okay, thank you.
Another one for out of state, we have an Ohio office, but our owner is from Kentucky. Can we become EDGE certified?
Okay, now, as I was speaking of earlier, we only will certify Ohio residents, only certify Ohio residents. That will be something we have to look at on a case-by-case basis. It depends on a lot of factors. Do you have business here in Ohio and also in Kentucky, or just in Kentucky? So you have to email me on that one. That is very difficult at times. Okay, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Another question. I don't think we've ever had this many questions in a webinar. This is awesome. I have submitted a unified application about 2 months ago, and it was declined because my company is less than a year in business. Can we work with you to help you in this process? We absolutely can, but that 1 year mark is definitely a threshold that you have to meet for that to be approved.
Correct.
If I'm 30 or 60 days out from starting my business, is the process still the same? I'm assuming that you're saying 30 to 60 days out from being a year in business. The process, yes, would still be the same. Tim's information is in the chat, tim.collins@das.ohio.gov. And we've got Charles King in there. Hi, Mr. Charles. Good to see you. I want to make sure before I'm going into wrap up, guys, I promise I'm trying to stay on time. Is the certification process different at the city level? There are some unique differences between state and city certification. We partner very well with the city of Columbus. So reach out to us, Anonymous, and we will do our best to help you navigate that process for the city as well. The Ohio Business Gateway wouldn't let my company cross-certify to EDGE. I'm starting a new application. Is this the correct procedure? Tim, I'm going to let you talk about the cross-certification piece.
We had to talk offline on that. That's, you know, I don't know what was behind you was not allowed. That's a case by case. It ain't a case by case, but we had to talk about that offline. It had to be a reason why you were denied. So if you can just email me the situation, we can go from there. Okay.
And then the last question, I've got 1 minute to go. What if our business will be set up in Ohio and we move to Texas within 1 to 2 years?
Okay, so it's for the state of Ohio residents only. Once you move to Texas, you'll have to notify the state of Ohio that you moved, and then we'll have to take the appropriate actions from there. Okay.
This has been fantastic. Thank you all for your attention, hanging in there with us as we went through a very tedious list of documents, but they're all so very important. We have our panelists' contact information there. I promise you we will package this video. We will email it to you again with the package of information we refer to. You will have your contact information. I ask that you complete the survey at the end of this webinar. That helps us serve you better. Thank you so much for watching. Know that we truly care about you and your business, and MBAC is here because we've got your back.